This is such an interesting place to work because I've worked in other venues and I don't think you get the closeness or opportunity to interact with such a diverse world as we do here.
You say you were a part-time stage doorkeeper. Yeah. You're now running the operations of this building.
If I go to a show, I can't stop looking for fire exits, which is so boring. And just being able to sort of facilitate an environment for people safely is really important. You couldn't recreate this culture and this line of work without the people that are here.
Yes.
And that's standout for me.
Welcome to the Bridge Theatre podcast, where we meet the people who make the magic happen. On stage, backstage, and everywhere in between. We'll find out what their first passion with theatre was, the moments that made them, and even what their fantasy production would be if they could create one themselves. I'm Pauline Fallowell, your host, so get comfy and we'll get started. In this episode, we're talking to Terri Hammond, our front of house operations manager. Terri's been here since the beginning and has the very important job of doing many things, including looking after the safety of our audiences and staff members while a production is running. I'm really looking forward to sitting down and talking to Terri. We don't often get the chance to talk. Hi, Terri. Thank you for joining for a chat. We don't often get to do this.
No.
Just chat for fun. And also the madness of this kind of backdrop. I love that it's with our seats. I feel it's quite apt because, you know, we're both very customer focused.
You can sort of see how many, that's only, a quarter of our seat? Not even.
It's probably not
an
even
eighth?
A quarter.
Such a small number, but it looks like there's absolutely hundreds of them.
Yeah, it does. They're like little minions.
Yeah, they are.
Terri, do you want to give a quick introduction to who you are, what you do for the Bridge?
Sure. I'm Terri. I'm the house operations manager. So I look after people once they're in the building. So anything to do with the experience of coming to the theatre, the customer service side of things, the food and beverage offer, managing the staff that facilitate that as well, and security and stage door, and just sort of making sure the venue operates around what's going on inside the auditorium as well.
It's such a unheroed job, I think. No one's aware that there is sort of I'd say mastermind, but it's like control center almost, isn't it? Of just being like, everything happens because you've set it up.
Out here, yeah. And it's a thankless job, but somebody's got to do it.
You do it so well. I hope you do get thanked occasionally.
No, we do. Our customers are very good. They have a lovely time here, so they do write into us and let us know that they've enjoyed the experience and enjoyed the staff. And we like to, sort of say that we're the best front of house team in London, and I actually do believe that. Yeah. I know that sounds very sort of like cliche, but the sort of ethos we've built up here and the way we're working with the customers is quite unique, and I really like championing that. And sort of
I think we were both taught that from the beginning here as well, because you've been here as long, you've been here from the beginning.
Yeah.
And it's almost that, isn't it lovely that started from the beginning, and it's all like we're continuing that message through, and I think everyone gets it, as you say, like audience staff when they arrive through the door.
And it's nice when we bring new people into this space, new customers and new staff, because when they join, a lot of them have come from other theatre companies and they're very used to doing things in a particular way. And we sort of shake that out of them and say, no, that's not how we're doing it here. At the Bridge, we do it like this. We want you to have your personality. We want you to bring that to our customers. We want you to sort of support each other, lean on each other. And it does create a really nice protective net around the team and the customers.
You're like mother hen of that.
Mother hen, sitting on my big nest of 500 seats.
I love it. Well, you must have a passion for theatre to be doing this in some ways, or maybe you don't. Where did that first love come from? Where was your first touch point with theatre?
I have a January birthday. So for every birthday when I was a kid, I went to the panto. That was my gift, because I couldn't go and do the big summer birthday parties with the bounce castles and things. So my parents would always do the classic panto. And I remember seeing Fireman Sam. So my earliest memory of going to a theatre was seeing Fireman Sam live in the Bournemouth Pavilion.
Wow.
And I remember just because obviously I watched Fireman Sam on TV, and then on stage there were those characters in real life about 7 foot tall, because they were actors in those big sort of costumes. And I just remember being like, this is so exciting, and really, really enjoying it, and wanting to engage with it more, and sort of asking my mum if I could start going to things like drama groups and things, and getting involved myself in a sort of performance element as well as a kid. So from a very early age, actually, really, really wanted to be just sort of actively in that bubble.
Yeah. And then how did that keep going? Did you then do a bit more? Did you keep doing drama?
Yeah. I did drama at school, did the classic, did all the drama groups, all the singing and dancing lessons.
Always on stage?
Always on stage, yeah. And then I fell into circus arts, and I started performing for a few years, actually, as I was doing fire performance, still walking. And it turned out I was really good at it. So I just sort of fell into learning things like staff and fire breathing.
Was
and
there a
fire
local
fans.
community that did that? Or
There was. I grew up on the beach, and we had lots of space to be able to set fire to things. So it was a lot easier. And one of my teachers at college just happened to have gone. She went to a circus school in Bristol, Circumedia, and she was really looking for people that were sort of had the ability, the gymnastic ability to be able to perform in that way.
Yeah.
And she created a little performing company, and we worked for her for several years, me and a couple of other people that I knew.
So you did perform doing this?
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. And then I had a really bad injury when I tried snowboarding for the first time. And I basically wiped myself out and took myself out of the industry and thought,
Terri,
I'm going to try something different.
Yeah.
So I went into acting very briefly, but I wouldn't say I'm the best actor. So I didn't get very far with that. And then started to look more into like the sort of arts management side of things. Moved to London, got myself an MA, and here I am working in theatre now.
Wow.
So sort of a bit of a static. I wouldn't have to be an actor now, though. I admire what actors do, but 8 shows a week, 50-hour rehearsals, just that whole commitment, having to learn lines and remember them, and be on, at least I can be versatile with what I say in the sort of line of work I do. But actors have got, that's a tough, and I know they do get thanks, but I do feel like there is like an element of it being thankless because there's so much pressure on them.
Yeah, I agree.
So I'm in awe of what they do, but
and then
you're
constantly chasing the next job as well. Like we know that we're going to be,
we're employed.
We're here.
Yeah.
We're here. We're going to do this. We know the next show. We're going to, crack on. And and the fact that you have to every time make a new company as well. Like I know I know we have staff that come in and out, but like feeling mad to sometimes I'm like, no, I just need someone that knows who I am that I can go and have a conversation with.
So our jobs are skills based.
Yeah.
Actors are very, very skilled, but if they're not the exact person that fits that role, they could be the most brilliant actor and they won't get that work. Whereas we can be like, we've got these skills. Here's our CV. Ta-da.
Please hire me.
So I'm in absolute awe of what actors do, and actually all creatives, because they're all in that same industry of having to jump around and find the niche that fits them. But I would not survive in it.
Well, then on that note of actors and creatives, if you were able to, like we've had the privilege of working here in this amazing space, if you yourself, having worked here, done various things, could create your own fantasy theatre, what would it be?
Right. So I might be going a bit out of the box here.
Go as far out the box as you like.
To see enough theatre that is like action based. And I'm not talking like Mad Max the musical or something, but like,
why not?
I was sort of thinking the concept of a video game, and there's some really brilliant companies out there like Punch Drunk and the stuff that's going on at Phantom Peaks, where they're sort of creating these immersive stories, and they're interesting stories, but there's a whole world of people that are big fans of the computer game franchises like Silent Hill or Gears of War, all these sort of action-based video games actually have really, really good and really interesting plots, but are interactive.
Yeah.
The plot doesn't necessarily stay the same. So what I would like to see, this vision, is a video game-based platform. Because I know they've done something similar with the Stranger Things play that's on at the moment. That sort of element of all these visuals and everything sort of being a really modern way of like interpreting a live performance. But I'd like to see interactive. I think I'm going down the route of like LARPing almost, but not. I don't want to go LARPing, but I'd like to see something in that world of where people can interact and play, but they're playing with performers, but it's stories they know. It's stories they know from video games. And I think that would be an
video
interesting
games
way.
rather than just stories that like Shakespeare.
Yeah, well, video games is a really interesting art form because there's a lot of really, really creative stories out there, and they get transferred to film sometimes. Obviously, there's the Doom film, and there's the Silent Hill franchise, and then there's the that TV series with
I'm going to be rubbish at this. I mean, Lara Croft is a good example.
Lara Croft,
Minecraft have just done a film.
There's so much.
Yeah, you forget that there's quite a lot.
And it would be so interesting to see that on stage. It'd be so interesting to see that like concept of that interactive element and these stories that people know and love, but are very action based, created in a live environment. That's what I'd.
And people watch people play as well, don't they? There's huge conventions where
streamers as well,
which is fascinating, isn't it? That voyeuristic element of watching someone play something. Do you play much yourself? Is that why this is...
Yeah, I do. I do play video games when I can around my children, but it's sort of not quite like... I like to play a lot of open world stuff, and I think I like the idea of open world, and I like the idea of, obviously there are these theatrical pieces now that are open world and you can go around and explore, but a lot of those are quite soft storylines. I think I want to see something a bit dark and punchy in that sort of environment, which I know Punch Drunk do an excellent version of, but narratives that people know, so people can come and join into the narrative and go, I know this story, I'm going to find the story that I've played, I want to follow that, and sort of do that little... choose your own adventure, but a sort of with explosions.
Do you know who you'd get to do this? Do you have like a creative team that you think could, and this could be anyone, you could go film, you could go, I mean, you could just go...
What? Danny Boyle.
I mean,
he could direct that. That would be nice and easy. Yeah, I think he'd pick that up. He did the Olympics, so I think he could do my vision like justice.
Wow, that's a cool one. Do you think
like set design wise, my favourite set is not at all a huge epic set, but it's the cleverest set I've ever seen. Have you seen Curious Incident? And that was Bunny Christie, who we know well here. And it is I just think the concept of that set and the way it is so interactive and bits can be pulled out and it's just white boxes. But the performers move around with this and they can, the scene in that show, there's a London Underground scene.
Yeah.
It's really simple. They're just using these white boxes. But the way that the set designer envisioned that whole set could be used, the way it's been used, and it is so authentic, even though the set itself isn't a realistic looking set. I love it. I love that set. Anytime I think of like the gold standard of sets, that's the one that pops into my head.
Did you see it in the West End or at the National? Because what I love about that set even more was that originally it was in the round, so the set was flat, and they actually moved it to become a wall and a floor, and then gave it small walls. Like, it's madness.
I never saw it in the round, so I didn't get to see the even better version of it.
It was incredible. I mean, I didn't see that, but I know from the way they had to transform it. Like, and isn't that even more incredible that a set designer can transform it? But that set was incredible.
It's just
and simple but effective.
And it was also really interesting to look at because it was bright. And the story itself in that particular play is it's about a boy and his story, and it's quite a scary story because the set does such a good job of showing how his experience as an autistic child is influenced by like the stimulation from his environment, and it recreates that so effectively. So I'd love to see what Bunny Christie can do with like my Silent Hill adaptation.
I wonder if she's a gamer. I'm like, is Danny Boyle a gamer? I
feel like
gamer.
Looking at the stuff that Danny Boyle puts out, I feel like he must at least have a PlayStation, or he's. But also he's innovative. He's just done this massive film, and it was all filmed on iPhones. He's switching around with technology and finding new and interesting ways to capture things. And
has he done much theatre? I'm trying to remember.
Well, I would argue that the Olympics opening ceremony was
a pretty big piece of
theatre. Huge theatrical. But if you think about like he directed that and he curated that, and that was gigantic.
Yeah, so true.
I just think he's got a really good creative vision for.
Actually, didn't he do Frankenstein at the National?
The one that had...
they alternated.
Yes.
Which, again, is quite a clever trick to...
I remember watching that during lockdown on the NT Live. That was one of the... I'll watch both sides.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we've got two very good creatives. Any more creatives that you'd throw into the mix to this?
None that I can name, but I think because of the concept, I think it would have to be people from that industry as well, of the video game industry, and how they write and develop those stories to have all the multiple narratives.
Would you get their writers from there?
I think so, yeah. In my dream world.
Not get a traditional theatre writer?
No, I think it would need to be, I think, although there are lots of very, very brilliant like dramaturgs and playwrights out there, I think for this idea... to sort of land, I think it would need to be as authentic as possible. So having people who understood the concept of gaming and that style of, you'd want it to be, especially because there are such big fan bases to these sorts of things. I think creatively, an audience would want it to be as sort of authentic or similar to what, because really it's a sort of a fan service thing where people would be coming in and wanting to play with things the way they know how to play with things in that sort of world. So I think,
And when you say play with things, would they be gaming, or would they be interacting with a character? Would they be able to get into a car? Would they be able to...
I'd want them to be in it. I'd want them to be, I haven't been to Phantom Peaks, but I've spoken to a few people that have, and they sort of said that you're literally there in the town and you're sort of maneuvering around, and it's got that sort of interactive element where you could actually just go and have a day there and not be involved in story, or you could really track down and follow a story, which is quite similar to what you would do in a video game. And there are some people, like my sister loves just picking flowers in Animal Crossing for hours on end, whereas I like to actually sort of follow a narrative and really sort of stick to getting into the story. So I think open world but with narrative, scripts, but action.
You are playing to you are going broad audience here, aren't you?
Very broad. Yeah, I'd need a warehouse somewhere. I was
going to say, where is this?
I'd have to be over in like East London somewhere in one of
those huge spaces. That the punch drunks and those those immersive places do take over.
Yeah.
Would you have a star actor in it? Would you go in for I know it's always a bit weird because star actors, you don't want them to be mobbed in in
an immersive environment. That'd be so. Because if you think about...
You're now thinking of
I'm thinking of all the times we've had to have some security present for our VIP performers that we have here. I don't think I would. I think I would go for people that, unless it's a sort of concept where it had an actor who was very much tied to a franchise and looked very much like... This is our old friend Zoe Wanamaker is the voice of one of the main characters in a computer game series called Fable.
Oh, wow.
And
did not know that.
She is very promptly, she's got such a distinctive voice.
Yeah, she does.
That I don't think you'd be able to recreate that character without her voice.
Yeah.
Because it's so synonymous.
But you could just have the voice, couldn't you, booming?
They've done that with War of the Worlds. They always get a really strong, very present narrator for that. And that's... But I think that could be played around with as well. I'll say Ian McKellen. I'd have Ian McKellen in my...
You could just do it as almost like he could just pop in. Maybe you should have cameos of different people that can pop in on different days.
Yeah. Or when you go to Disney, you go to Disneyland and you're queuing for the roller coaster, and it's a themed roller coaster, and they've always got the actors on TV screens giving you the instructions. I'm a big fan of an experience in a theme park queue. Again, it's an immersive, interactive.
It is. Maybe that should just be the whole thing. You just
queue. You just queue, and that was it for an hour and a half. The reviews would be 5 stars across the board.
That sounds like an Edinburgh Fringe show that someone should do if they haven't already.
Yeah. It probably exists, but
that's fun. Oh, I love this. I mean, where would you place yourself in it? Would you want to perform in it? Would you want to be front of house operations for that one?
It'd be really interesting to audience manage, because that is my bread and butter. Is the logistics of people curating how people move through a space. And I know that's not everybody's cup of tea, but it is mine.
But don't you love that you've got geeky about that? Did you ever think?
I know. And I tell my friends about it, and they've all got really interesting jobs, and I'll be like, well, I do risk assessments. But
you do them very well.
I think being able to sort of facilitate an environment for people safely.
Yeah.
Because you do hear about a lot of these events and gigs and festivals where audience safety hasn't necessarily been considered, and that has really dire consequences. Yeah. So it is really important, and being able to nail that, make sure you've got it safe, make sure people are moving in a safe way, and therefore having an absolutely great time, I think is part of the experience. And in an immersive environment, I really think that front of house teams are right in there with it.
You've seen it a bit.
When we have it here,
I mean, it's not on that scale, but there's still lots of processing to it.
There's a whole a whole extra layer, even with what we do with where we have the pit environment. We add in a whole team of hosts and stewards who are purely there to facilitate safely moving people in keeping with the theme of the show. So like with Midsummer's, for example, they were all in boiler suits and they were moving around and they were dancing in the moments when the music was playing and the energy was great. But actually, in the grand scheme of things, they were working as audience safety. They were stewards. So in this world, if it was a large immersive thing, I would very much likely be heading up the operational, moving the people through safely and the timings of that. And
yes, because not only, and I've done Punch Drunk a few times, I've always found it fascinating that they have entry times to get people through in kind of nice chunks, but they always manage to bring everyone together at the end in one room to do the finale. Even though you may be exploring a corner, you might be just picking flowers in a corner somewhere like your sister. Like, it's amazing how they just draw you all together. And every time I'm suddenly like, oh, I'm here. Like when I've done it before, I'm like, and so's everybody else, even though you've lost anyone you come with.
Did you ever see The Great Gatsby? Immersive, because they did the same thing. I found myself, I separated from my friends for the entire evening. We actually went as a team from here. We took the whole front of house team. We were basically the entire audience for the night. And I ended up with this other group of people who were like the one group of people who weren't from the Bridge Theatre following Daisy's storyline. Then everyone else was over with Gatsby and I had no clue what was going on in that story until we got to the end and it all gets very dramatic in The Great Gatsby. And I was like, I have no idea what's happening, but it's brilliant because it's actually quite a realistic experience. If you went to a party and stuff started going wrong,
you never see the full story.
You'd sort of be like, hang on, and everyone else is watching you like, where have you been? What's been going on? And there's actually at the end, it wasn't a step out of being like, that play was good or I didn't like this actor. It was what happened to you tonight? What happened to you? Where were we all? And sort of piecing together the whole story. And the front of house teams facilitating that is so clever.
It is that secret job. Like so many, I'm having lots of chats with people in this series, and what I love is so many people do secret jobs that nobody really appreciates. It's that thing of, I wonder now if people are going to go and properly notice it, because when someone tells you about something, that's all you see. I bet that's what you see. Do you see that when you go?
I can't. If I go to a show, I can't stop looking for fire exits, which is so boring. And just start looking around the room and being like, oh yeah, that's an appropriate number of fire exits for the room. And
what is an appropriate number of fire exits?
Well, it all depends on the capacity.
Oh, gosh, okay.
And the door widths.
I'm going to be looking
very
this now.
Exciting. I only do it when I go to shops. I'm like, oh yeah, great. Look, there's their fire evac plan on the wall there. Someone's doing a great job in health and safety. But I also can't stop watching stage management. Because what they do is so choreographed.
Yeah.
So I always sit there and I just like, oh yeah, here comes the stage management team to sort of change and do the switchovers.
Yeah, what are they wearing? How are they integrated or not integrated?
Sometimes they're in costume. Sometimes they are just completely hidden and they just appear out of nowhere.
Because we know our stage team have, they've had to do certain roles sometimes as well.
Yeah, our head of stage was deaf briefly in Christmas Carol, wasn't he?
It's still one of my favourite things that he's had to do.
And then dressers as well.
Yeah.
There's this whole world of people that make sure that the actors are getting on and off stage quickly and these magical quick changes are happening. And I don't think people even realise there's a whole industry of people who professionally are incredibly good at doing that and just get these actors looking how they need to look within seconds. And it's just amazing. So if I spot a dresser, it's a bit bad, but I am always like, oh, quick change. Sort of stuff. So I don't really watch the play at all. I was
going to say, do you actually get to see much often?
Well, we watch the stuff here, don't we?
Yeah, we do. That's true. Many times. In joyous ways. Oh, yeah. I do quite want to see your video
My video game concept. I'll get some producers on board and we'll be,
Is there a specific video game? Which one can we get the rights to?
Well, there's a lot that have been turned into films, so they would probably not have rights available. Or Mad Max the Musical is my fallback plan. I think we could make a lot of money if we put that. It is just the action on stage thing. Yeah. Like Martin McDonagh's great at
and blood,
splat, and
everything.
And that's quite a unique thing to see on stage because obviously when you're doing it on film, there's editing and you can't necessarily recreate that live. And I just really like this live drama live, So that's why I'm thinking this world of, and not video games like the nice farming ones, because I don't think anybody's, you could just go to pick your own experience at a pumpkin patch if you wanted that. But it's the It is the big ones that are like I play Elder Scrolls and Oblivion, these sort of fantasy-based ones.
Gosh, yeah.
And then you've also got ones like Silent Hill or all of these zombie ones.
I feel like this hasn't been dived into enough actually in this.
Right?
I feel like theatre people,
considering it's such an interactive world that has this whole huge market behind it of people that just love gaming.
Are gaming people theatre people?
50-50, I'd say. But it would be good to get more people into theatre. And I think finding
more
other
theatre
avenues.
people into gaming.
Yeah, and vice versa. It's only going to benefit two industries. So
I love that. Well, bringing it back to this theatre, and as I said, you have been here from the beginning, which is, we're still here. We're survivors. And in fact, what is lovely is that so many of us have been here from the beginning.
Loads of us.
In that time, have you had any like standout moments?
I mean, a lot.
Tell them all if you want to.
This is such an interesting place to work because I've worked in other venues. A lot of us have. And I don't think you get the closeness or opportunity to interact with such a diverse world as we do here. Yeah. And that includes like Miriam Margolyes grabbing me to tell me off about our lighting design.
That's usually,
and it was a highlight because I love Miriam Margolyes. And someone said she wanted to talk to someone and I was like, I will take that. The Ian McKellen show, the one-off Ian McKellen performance he did for his 80th birthday, where do you remember he did that whole
went through
tour?
All of the Shakespeares, didn't he?
He did, and it was, he was wonderful. He made a point of introducing himself to everybody, and he even sat down and did a little Q&A with the front of house team, which they never really get the opportunity to do and to interact, and it made their night, honestly.
Raising money, wasn't it? He came out with a bucket at the end.
And then all that money went into Flute Theatre, as you know, so we were able to facilitate.
Yeah,
was it 2 weeks we did in the end?
We got Flute Theatre in to do Midsummer Night's. They did a version of Midsummer Night's Dream here, didn't they?
They did.
For kids with autism, and it was just a lovely workshop.
It was, and it was really great to be able to see us do something so versatile outside of what we do as commercial theatre, having that opportunity to just have that little window of outreach that everybody was so on board with being able to do. Yeah. And there's lots of weird little customer interactions, which I won't bore you with in case a customer ever goes, hang on, that was me. But we've had so much opportunity here to be able to just see things in a different perspective. Like, it's a very collaborative environment. So I get to brag a lot to my friends, about, the actor from our last show walks through our office every day and stops and says hello to us, or, actors from previous performances have sought out the front of house team to give us sweets every day. We've always got, this particular person sitting in our green room because they like coming into the venue, and it's just a really nice environment for that.
It's so lovely how open the space is back there, because even though there is the kind of downstairs is the actors' dressing rooms, and once they're down there, that's private area. But they can just, walk around. They can come and say hi to front of house, to any of the head of stage, head of lighting, head of sound.
Yeah.
Anyone in the technical department, and in front of house, us in the admin, sort of marketing, production team. We're all just there. And then the front of house teams come and sit and have their lunch or their dinner underneath us. We're all just sort of mucking in. It is a community. And as you say, it is lovely that, I often find in other theatres, they're all segregated in different rooms and different spaces. But it does sometimes feel like we're all doing this together.
It's nice as well, because a lot of the front of house team are actors. This is, this isn't their bread and butter. This is their, got to pay my bills so I can continue being a creative job. Yeah. And we're really happy to be able to facilitate that. But it means they get to interact with the performers, and they're not doing it in a sort of, I'm a big fan. They're doing it in a sort of, it's, they all come out here at the end, everyone's finished work. This place is still open in a sort of green room capacity, and people come and they have drinks, and they're all interacting with each other, and actually they're all networking, and it creates it's a really good culture of, it's not us and them.
Yeah.
So I have worked in other venues where it's very much been, you're that side of the room, they're that side of the room. Let's not cross over at all, which I think here we've got such a good culture of, I sit next to the stage supervisor in the office, and behind me I've got facilities and I've got the head of stage and then the sound team are right there. And we're not all sort of, sometimes in some theatres stage is sort of hidden away underground somewhere and lighting are all the way up in their follow spot office. It's just one space. And it means, I actually think it makes us more effective as a team as well, because we're all out there. We're all talking to each other. We haven't got to send.
Gossip does not hide in the office. As soon as one person knows something, everyone knows it. It's like,
but that's good. We're open book. Yeah, you can't keep secrets at the Bridge Theatre.
That's a good, as you say, it's a good thing.
But then the directors are really, at the very, very top of the tree are really good at communicating with us all what's happening, what's next, what adventure we're on. And that's such a great, that's a standout thing as well, though, because it creates this sort of element of us all feeling like we're not important in the grand scheme of what we do here.
Everyone is important in this machine. Like everyone is a cog just moving this forwards. It's, as you say, it's wonderful.
And giving people the opportunity to just hear simple things and to receive feedback in a positive way from people that they might not be aware are noticing them is just really, it's nice. It's really nice, comforting. Oh. And we've got an absolutely brilliant staff retention here. We run recruitment every so often because naturally our teams move on. They book acting jobs. We're happy to see them go because we're happy to see them thrive. But really, people want to stay here because they like the culture and the ethos and the work that we're creating as well. The place is so interesting.
Yes.
And we've got such a dynamic, the next two shows we've got coming up could not be further apart from each other in concept, theme. One's a musical, but a dark musical. One is very much a straight play, but it's this whole new imagining of it. And it's just this whole sort of, you couldn't recreate this. We'd love to replicate this, but you couldn't recreate this culture and this line of work without the people that are here.
Yes.
And that's standout for me. It's this whole, there's a whole group of people that work here and this whole group of ideas that come together that just create something that I think is quite magical. It's quite,
I like that for you. It's like, I know you did a few examples, but it feels like for you, the Bridge is like a whole thing is a standout moment. Like
it is, yeah.
Just being here.
I've worked in other venues, and some venues I've worked in have been, and I'm not going to name them, but they've been rubbish. And, I've not enjoyed it at all. And it's been a real dampener on my experience of the industry. And when I started here as a stage doorkeeper, because I was doing my master's.
Were you stage door at first? I was trying to remember whether you were a host or a stage door.
Started on stage door part-time because I was doing an MA in contemporary performance practice. And I was just sort of like looking for a side hustle. But then as I was studying, I was sort of like, actually, that side of things and this is as much a part of people's experience in theatre as watching performances. And I just started to really be like, I like that. I'm landing that.
And I also love that here so many people have grown. As you say, you were a part-time stage doorkeeper. Yeah. You're now running the operations of this building. Like, isn't that lovely that journey is taking you that way?
So many journeys like that as well. So many people who've left us as well. If you think about the original group of
production
assistants we had, and now they're associate producers, they're directors, they're running companies,
and finances,
they're just doing amazing, and that's in the space of 7 years, which actually isn't very long, especially with COVID happening in the middle of that. And this place has been a real like sort of jumpstart. Yeah. It's really sort of like elevated people and given them that, and I do think the culture is part of that because it's let people thrive.
Well, I'm sort of going to wrap this up because actually...
It sounds like I'm doing a recruitment drive, doesn't it?
Really what Terri's here for is to get more people into Bridge to work here. You can find our job section on... But on that front, if you weren't here, if you really had fallen out of love with theatre, if you had those rubbish jobs and gone, this is enough, what would you do if it wasn't theatre?
So... when I was a kid, I was one of those kids that be like, Mum, can I have a briefcase, please? And I really wanted to be a lawyer. I was like, I want to be a lawyer. I want to taking down criminals. I want to be sort of like getting the bad guys. I don't know what I'd been watching at like 8 years old. I just sort of got that into my head. Blonde. Yeah, maybe, I don't even think I was out then. I just really had, maybe like my dad had some sort of paralegal drama on or something in the background, but I was absolutely adamant. My mum was paying for me to go to all these different like drama lessons and things like that, dance lessons and stuff. And I was sort of like, no, I want to be a lawyer. My mum was like, well, fair enough. And then I got to sixth form and I was like, no, I don't want to be a lawyer. It turns out that's going to be really hard. So I'd like to be in the performance world, please, because
pick up
I feel like
fire.
I'm thriving there better than I am in my academic studies. But if I wasn't at all in the arts, I do think I would have probably tried a little bit harder to do something in the world of taking down criminals.
I mean, it's not far from, like, that. You've got that health and safety, that, like, you know, that kind of very regimented, like, law and order kind of here a bit, if you look at it that way.
So I'm getting my fix.
Yeah. You've got it, but in a creative way rather than doing it in that.
I do think there's something really performative about legal teams. You know, when you sit and you watch like the Johnny Depp trial, and there's the legal team are all very sort of, you know, kind of think they're having fun. And that's an awful thing to say because of the topic of what they're dealing with. But
it is like, they've got wigs. I mean,
right,
and big chairs, and they've got an audience. It's theatre.
Look at like Judge Frinter.
Just look at him.
He is thriving. He has got a killer career, and I would have loved that, but
not for you.
But not for, well, you know, I'm still young. I could retrain.
Yes, you could retrain.
Yeah, watch this space.
On that note, before you start your legal career, please sue me for this interview. No. Oh, thank you for doing this.
Thank you for listening to me ramble.
And that's it for this episode. A massive thank you to Terri for her time and for sitting down and chatting. Please follow the show anywhere you get your podcasts. If it's YouTube, please hit subscribe because it helps more people find us. If you'd like to find out more about the Bridge Theatre, please visit bridgetheatre.co.uk, where you can see our productions and maybe even buy a ticket. Thanks for joining us, and see you again next week.